We're live. Hi guys, as you know, this is Sam from Fluid Social. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the main reasons that people are always flaking on you, right? A lot of you guys are going out there now, you're talking to people, you're becoming social, you're building your social life, and you're meeting women, and yet you still find that even when you get good responses, even if you get a phone number, you never actually meet up with that person. Most of the time, they're not even going to respond to you. And you think, what's the point in this? It's not going anywhere. I feel like I'm treading water. So let's have a look at some of the problems, some of the reasons why this is happening, and have a look at some of the solutions. So there's three main obstacles. There's three main reasons why this will happen, why you'll be able to have a conversation. Maybe you feel like you have a connection with a woman that you meet, but then she never responds to your messages. So what are the main reasons? Well, the first is that simply she's not attracted enough to you to meet up with you. So why isn't she? What are you not doing? What that you could do that would cause her to actually want to see you, that would cause her to feel attracted to you? Well, the first thing is essentially the spirit of adventure, right? If you go out and you meet someone in the daytime, you go out and you talk to a girl in an art gallery, coffee shop, bookshop, wherever you go, and she senses that you don't have the feeling that your life is good enough as it is by yourself without her, then there is really no incentive for her to want to get involved with your life. So the mentality that you want to have is essentially, my life is beautiful with or without you. But right now, I prefer to share that beauty with you, right? Essentially, you have to present your life as your own adventure, your own mission. You're enjoying it. You don't need anything else. You're already on your path. You're already writing your own novel, going on your own adventure. But this opportunity to bring her into it, to invite her into your adventure with the honest expression that that's what you'd like to do, is going to be make a huge difference in the way that she sees you. So often I see guys go out and maybe they are on their adventure and they are having fun, but as soon as they talk to a girl, they sort of sacrifice that entire spirit. They sacrifice their mentality that they had, that mentality of seeking out beauty, of doing things that are fun and engaging. And in that moment, they put so much priority and pressure on how this conversation is going to go. Suddenly they make it all about her, and they present it as if without her, they're not able to have fun. They're not able to have their own adventure anymore. So it's your job to go out and be on your adventure and be certain about that, so that you don't end up putting all of that impetus on her, so that you don't end up reprioritizing your life, so that your sense of fun and adventure depends entirely on whether this interaction goes well. And it sounds ridiculous, but that's what I see happen all the time. So the second thing is just a general lack of masculinity. As I said, you're not engaged. You're not actually showing her who you are, right? Very often, guys will go out, and as soon as they talk to someone, as soon as they go up and meet a girl, they don't embody the same energy that they had before. They go out, and as soon as they're talking, they're no longer presenting their true energy, right? They're trying to please, they're trying to impress, they're trying to make someone else like you, which you really can't control, rather than truly expressing the way you're feeling or truly expressing the way that you feel about her. So in those cases, it's a case of getting up in your head, getting lost in thought, having your center of gravity up here and not in your body. When you're fully present, when you're fully embodied and you can feel your body and you're focused on your experience, you're able to actually open up and connect. You're able to actually listen to her. You're able to look at her without these thoughts of outcome, without these thoughts of, does she like me? Will she be interested in me? And when you can do that, when you can just pay attention, just listen, just appreciate her in that moment, then you're going to be able to be open to actually expressing some level of interest or attraction. But when you're stuck in your head, when you're invested in her opinion of you and saying the right things, that's impossible. That's impossible to demonstrate. And in that moment, although you may find her attractive, you are not actually attractive because you're just thinking about yourself. So, and the third thing is that she basically can't imagine being with you, right? If you go up and you talk to a girl that you like, and as you're talking, you're not giving her any sort of idea of what it would be like to be with you. A lot of guys think that they have to just be really nice and agree with everything she says. And in those moments, and she's looking at you and paying attention to you, she cannot imagine where this is going. She can't imagine going out with you. She can't imagine being intimate with you. And many times this is guys trying to be too smooth. It's trying to hide your rough edges. It's trying to make yourself appear invincible, or as if you don't have any weaknesses, or if you don't have any insecurities. And she knows that everybody does. So in that moment, you essentially just want to show that you're a normal person, right? It is not when a lot of guys think they are at their most attractive, when they're saying the right things, when they've got all the funny comments, and you feel like you're on form, let's say, that is generally speaking not the moment where a woman's going to connect with you or find you attractive. Generally, it's in the moments where you're not really thinking about it. You're not really paying attention. You're exposing your rough edges. You're exposing your vulnerability. And by vulnerability, I don't mean weakness. I don't mean cowardice or weakness. I mean, whatever you're thinking or feeling at that time, you're able to express it. Even if you might preemptively think that it's a dopey comment or a weak comment, if that's what you're feeling at the time, actually it displays confidence to be able to express that thought and not be invested in whether or not she's going to judge you. Ultimately, the sense that you don't need her to like you, you're going to be okay if she's not interested in you. And when you can display that vulnerability, that sense that this may go well, this may go badly, that's not necessarily down to me. And so all I can do is express myself as honestly as possible. And if she likes it, that's great. And if she doesn't, then she's not my girl, and I'm not for her. And that's okay as well. There are other people in this world. So essentially, if she can't imagine it, if you haven't given her a clear picture of who you are, and she can't imagine going out with you, she can't imagine being personal with you, she can't imagine being intimate with you, then why would she respond to your message? Why would she take that risk and go out with you when she has no visual aid to sort of guide her in that direction, to tell her, actually, I can see how this is going to go. I've got a feeling of who this guy is. He's shown me he's a real person. He's been honest. He's been open. So without that, it's very, very unlikely that she's going to feel genuine attraction for you, because you haven't shown her anything real. You've tried to show her this glossy, silky version of yourself. And really that just conveys insecurity, because it's saying that I want her to like me. And that should not be your priority. You should be thinking, do I like her? Right? How do I feel about her? You shouldn't be thinking about what she thinks about you. As soon as you start worrying about how she's viewing you, she's not going to view you very well, because she's going to notice that you're overly invested in her opinion and that you don't believe in yourself independently of her opinion of you. So the next thing is she doesn't trust you. Essentially, she may be attracted to you. She may have really enjoyed the conversation, and she may actually have plans to see you again. But when it comes to her actually setting up that meeting and actually going out with you, she realizes that she doesn't trust you. She doesn't know you well enough. She doesn't feel completely safe or invested to actually go out with you and meet with you again. So where does this come from? Where does this lack of trust come from? And how do you actually build a sense of trust? How do you make it so that she will trust you enough to want to go out and see you, which does take quite a lot of trust. And that's why most relationships and most women will want to date guys that they know pretty well, that they've spent some time around, that they get a sense for their personality. And generally speaking, not some guy who was attractive, was cute, but they don't know anything about him. Well, firstly, demonstrating what you want. Essentially, she doesn't trust you a lot of the time because you haven't actually been clear with her about what you're looking for or what you want, right? So in these situations, a lot of the time it's down to you not necessarily prioritizing the right thing. If you're in conversation and you tell her openly what you value, right, like what you're looking for, and if you can't demonstrate it, literally just saying it, in a conversation, then she's much more likely to actually trust you because you've at least been clear about what you want. So in conversations, you might say something like, you know, I really value kindness. I find kindness to be a really undervalued quality in people. Now, just that statement alone is essentially not, you might think that that's, you know, being a nice guy or being too ingratiating or being weak. But actually, if you can say openly that you value kindness in other people, it's a way of saying, look, I'm a good person. I am a nice person. But that doesn't put you in this sort of weak, slightly inauthentic, nice guy frame. Instead, you're telling her openly, yes, I am a nice guy because that's what I believe, right? I believe that people should be kind to each other. I believe that we should have honest and open connection rather than sort of cowering away and pretending to be nice because you're too nervous to express honestly what you actually want or who you are. So the next thing is trust is built through eye contact, right? Trust is built through the connection of two people, not just the words that they're saying, but actually the full body connection. So a lot of the time, she won't trust you if you've just had moments of eye contact, if you're talking at her rather than with her, and you're unable to actually look in her eyes for an extended period of time, right? But holding eye contact is how we connect, because if you're holding eye contact, you're listening. And if you're listening, you are listening not just to the words that she's saying, but you're listening to the tone of her voice. You're listening to the way that she expresses herself. You're listening to the nuances in her character. You're listening to the quality of her personality rather than just the means through which she's communicating, which would be the words, right? As men, we're much more direct with communication. We're more interested in the objective reality. Where did you go? What did you do? But with women, oftentimes it's more about the sense, the feeling of that. There's a slightly more subjective tint to the way that we communicate. So in those moments, it's more about how did that make you feel, right? She can read your emotions in your face, right? You can't say the right words and expect that she's going to judge you on what you're saying. She's going to assess you based on the way that you're expressing. She can read negative emotion in your face. She can read nervousness in your face. She can read if you're trying to manipulate her, if you're trying to lie to her. There's nothing you can do or say to hide how you actually are, because we express everything in the most minute changes in our facial expressions, in the most minute flicking of our eyes from one side to the other. She can tell everything she needs to know about you in that moment. So there's no hiding. There's no hiding the way that you're feeling. The only solution is to express that honestly. If you're nervous, if you're a little bit tired, if you're feeling a bit under the weather, if you're hungover, you shouldn't be trying to cover it up with this sort of smooth James Bond style shield, this mask. You should be expressing it truly, because those are the moments where she's actually going to invest in you and she's going to connect with you. So again, the energy, right? Demonstrate what you want. If you like her, if you want to see her again, that should be expressed in your body language. That should be expressed in your appreciation of her in the moment. That should be expressed in a playful energy. That should be expressed in the full embodiment of where you want to be and what you want to do right now. Again, you can't just say, I really like you and I want to spend more time with you. Because if what you're saying does not correlate to the way that you're acting, to the way that you're expressing what you're saying, it's just going to fall flat, because she can read the discordance between the two. So demonstrate who you are. She doesn't trust you because you haven't demonstrated who you are. You haven't told her who you are. A lot of the time we think that we need to meander around a point. We think, oh, you know, she's not giving me much attention. She's not investing much in me. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to try and find a tactical way around this. When instead, oftentimes, if we just say what we want, if we say what the problem is, address it, that gives her an opportunity to just find the solution. A lot of the times, if you just ask for what you want, people will give it to you. But we think we need to meander around this. We think we need to find a way to express it. Oh, I won't message her for 10 days. And maybe then she'll feel the loss and she'll message me. Why don't you just tell her what the issue is, right? Why don't you risk losing her? And in taking that risk, she's going to recognize that you've taken a risk and that you're not overly concerned with the outcome, but that you know that the honest solution is going to be the right one. If she says, well, actually, I'm just not that interested, then at least you know it and you're not wasting your time hoping for her to respond to you when she's not interested. So show vulnerability, tell her who you are, demonstrate who you are. Being put in the friend zone, like let's say she doesn't want to physically connect with you, she doesn't want to be intimate with you, that is better than being viewed as a creep, right? Or a lot of people who think that they're going out and they're being really smooth and they're being really cool, and it's just a matter of time before they get to some level of cool where all the women want them. It's never going anywhere because she can see that you're hiding something. And what you're hiding is never going to be as bad as the version that she's going to imagine, right? Because for her own safety, if she thinks you're hiding something, her imagination is going to jump to the worst possible conclusion, right? This guy seems quite cool, but I can tell that he's hiding something weird. He's not fully opening up with me, and it's a little bit strange. Her ideas of what you're hiding are going to go to the worst case scenario. Like, what's this guy's past like? How does he treat the people around him? Is this guy a complete psychopath? When in reality, what you're probably hiding is like that you're a little bit nervous when you talk about serious things, or you have a weird sense of humor, or you have a playful side that seems a little bit childish. That would be much more attractive if it were honestly expressed rather than covered up under this this fake smooth mask. So express. I think kindness is undervalued, right? What do I look for? You know, you could even say, you know, like people don't have really conversations much anymore. I think everyone's scared of each other. I think probably today, kindness is the most undervalued quality, right? That expressed genuinely, that sentiment can only be attractive. People will only want to be around you if you can express that idea honestly, because who cannot agree with that? And who has the courage to actually just say that, or the insight to say that? So demonstrate who you are, demonstrate what you value, demonstrate more about who you are, give her more to imagine, give her more to connect with, give her more to engage with. And a lot of the time it's like we think, you know, you have an interaction and then you try and get a phone number and then keep it real simple and don't get it wrong. Don't say anything wrong, because if you get it wrong, she won't respond to you. People think about playing it safe. They think about trying to make sure they don't say the wrong things and turn her away. When the truth is, if you're looking for an adventurous woman, if you're looking for a woman who is energetic and has the spirit of fun and risk and adventure built into her, then you're never going to win that girl through playing it safe, because you know, you can be sure that she's not looking for a safe option. She's not looking for someone who doesn't want to take risks and who's scared to lose things and so doesn't go out on a limb. She wants someone who's a little bit impulsive. She wants someone who is willing to take the risk because he knows his own value. He knows what he's capable of, and he wants to bring her along with him, and he wants to join her in that journey. And he wants her to join him in that journey. So at the end of an interaction, rather than just trying to get a phone number and then run away as quickly as you can, it would be better to express something like, you can check my unused Instagram to verify that I'm not a serial killer. I know you'll find it anyway. You look like a detective, right? To say something like that, essentially address the obstacle. I know this is a little bit unusual. I know people don't usually meet like this, but like, look, I am normal. I just really wanted to meet you this time. You know, that's going to be much more effective than just trying to ignore everything and gloss over the awkward moments and avoid any potential hiccup or obstacle. Just go through it. You've got to go through life. You can't shortcut it. You can't avoid difficult conversations, difficult moments. You have to go through them, become comfortable with them, become comfortable jumping the hurdles rather than just ducking under them each time. So tell her honestly what you like and how you feel, right? What do you like about her, right? Honestly, right? Why did you come up here? You've come up to talk to her and you've said, hello, you look very beautiful and I wanted to meet you. But is that actually what you felt? Or was there some quality of her character, some energy, some vibe that you liked and you don't know what it is? If that's the case, then that's a much better thing to say. Because again, she can tell when you're saying something that does not correspond to how you're feeling. If you don't know why you've come, but you know that she's beautiful. Say that, right? Anything that you can say that is intuitive, that is the real feeling that you've got at the moment, and not some good looking words, some nice sounding words. Say what you actually think. Say how you actually feel. Say what you actually like, right? Don't worry about how she's going to judge it or how she's going to respond. If it's coming from a good place inside of you, if you're saying it from a place of love and not from a place of trying to get what you want, she will feel that, right? If you say like, I love the sporty vibe, right? I love these leggings, right? If that's what it was that drew you to her, say it, right? And own it. And if that causes a shock response, or if that is deemed inappropriate, you have to understand that the place that it's come from in you, if it was a good place, you don't have to crack under that. You don't need to apologize for having said something that comes from a place of love and is technically inoffensive. So there is none of this avoiding saying something because you're worried about how it's going to be taken. You can explain that afterwards, right? If you need to cross that bridge, you will. And again, go through that, endure the tension, endure explaining what you mean and the place that it's come from. Complete, open, authentic honesty is honestly the way that this is going to work for you, because so few men have the ability to actually express themselves honestly. They will pretend that they're looking for a relationship so that she's more likely to be with them, and then break up and confound this idea in her mind that all men are dishonest, that all men are not to be trusted. She would much prefer a guy to say, look, honestly, I'm not looking for a relationship. I find you really attractive, but I'm not in a stage of my life where I want a relationship. And if she says, well, I'm not looking for anything casual, then you say, well, you're beautiful, but this is the wrong time for us. And she can walk away from that interaction knowing that at least this guy was honest, right? And how attractive is that he could say that and afford to lose me, and we share a beautiful moment of honesty, rather than him trying to pretend that this is going to be something more than it is, right? And guess what? Some women are looking for that. Some women are not looking for a relationship, and they would much rather be with a guy who's open and honest and is going to give them a good time, is going to go on adventures with them, is going to have fun with them, and they know he's never going to lie to them. They know that at least he's going to be honest, and whatever happens after that is okay. So many men are dishonest that you should see it as your duty to remind people that honest men exist. That is essentially your responsibility. So the third reason, so the first one, she's not attracted to you. What can you do to change that, right? What can you do to actually make yourself a more attractive person? Essentially, you're on your own adventure. You're showing that you're a man, you're masculine, and you're expressing yourself honestly, and you're giving her some food for thought. You're giving her a visual image of what it would be like to be with you. Secondly, she doesn't trust you. So demonstrate what you want, or simply tell her what you're looking for and what you want. Next, demonstrate who you are, or tell her, right? Who actually are you? What kind of person are you, and what are you looking for? Then tell her honestly what you like about her and how you feel, not just nice words like beautiful or sexy. What do you actually feel about her in the moment? What is it that's drawn you to her? Now, finally, the third reason, she's not persuaded. So maybe she is attracted to you. Maybe she does trust you, right? But something about your interaction hasn't persuaded her, right? So why would she be attracted to you and sort of trust you, but still not want to see you? Well, because you are at that moment just a guy messaging her on her phone, or calling her, or sending her a voice message, or whatever you're doing. You're not the full totality of who you actually are. You're just an abstraction. You're just sending her a message, or you're just speaking to her. So she could still be not persuaded. Just like if you know that the new Apple phone is good value and you trust that it's going to work really well, why would you not buy it? Well, maybe just because right now the offer isn't good enough, right? It's not enough to pull you out of your house and actually go down there and buy it. Even though you know it's good, even though you trust it works, there's a tipping point at which you're persuaded to buy it. And if you don't pass that tipping point, you're not going to buy it. You're going to stay inside. You're going to get Samsung. So what could you do to be more persuasive? Well, maybe the offer's not good enough. Maybe what you're actually presenting as the way that you're going to meet her is not good enough, right? So what I don't mean to say is that you have to take her out to a really fancy restaurant or to a really expensive rooftop bar. It's not necessarily about the actual activity that you choose, but it's about having a persuasive offer. So let's say your offer is a little weak or poorly thought through, even though she likes you and she trusts you, right? Let's say you even don't care where you go. You don't care if it's a restaurant or a car park in Croydon. Again, just say that, right? It would be better in that moment to say, to be honest, I don't really care if I see you at a nice restaurant or in some abandoned car park in Croydon. I just want to spend more time with you. That is a more attractive way of expressing that thought than saying like, hey, we could meet at 6:30. I know there's a nice bar around here. And then giving her all of this responsibility for actually arranging a date or a meeting. It would be better to say, I really don't care where I see you. I just want to spend time with you. That would be more effective because that's a persuasive offer. You're now telling her essentially that if we meet up, it's going to be easy. It's going to be fun. You know, I'm going to appreciate you. It's not this sense of, oh God, we're going to go to this fancy restaurant and he's going to awkwardly order cocktails and we're going to have this fake small talk over an overly priced drink. That's not what women are looking for. They just want to be with someone who is easy to be with, who is open, who is honest, who is fun to be around, and who has the spirit of adventure. So you could literally present a date in an abandoned car park in Croydon that could be more appealing than going to a fancy restaurant because you've been open and honest and prolific in the way that you've expressed that, right? There's an element of romance that's completely authentic because you've literally said, it just doesn't matter to me where I see you. I just want to be with you right now, right? That is more attractive. So she's not persuaded. You're not enthusiastic because you're not enthusiastic about it. Again, you're trying to play it safe. You're saying, we could meet at this time, or like, hey, I'm pretty busy, but I've got this evening free. Like, what time do you finish work? She's heard it all before. There's a million guys sending her that message. But the one guy who genuinely wants to see her and is enthusiastic about it and is open and honest about how he wants to see her, she knows that that guy is the guy worth having. Why? Because no one else can afford to be open and honest about it. Whereas this one person can. You're standing out from a group of everything that's the same, and you are an individual, and you can afford to lose her if it's not right, if it's not the right time, or if you're not a good match for each other. So she's not persuaded because she can't imagine or visualize meeting you, right? If there's nothing for her to see, if you haven't painted a picture, if you haven't given her a sense of comfort in going out to see you, and she can't imagine it, she can't visualize it. Just the same with intimacy. If she can't imagine being intimate with you, she's not going to want to be intimate with you. Whereas if she can imagine that, if she can visualize it, if you've given her something to actually, something tangible to see, to understand, to have that security of what it would look like to go out with you or to be with you, then she's much more likely to actually do it because it feels easy. It doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like a risk. So minimize the sense of risk, minimize the sense that she might come out and have a weird, awkward night with a creepy guy, right? If you express yourself honestly, you tell her openly what other guys would be afraid to tell her, you enthusiastically want to see her, you are actually taking a risk, technically speaking, because you're saying, I'm going to show you exactly who I am. And if you're not interested in exactly who I am, then it was never going to happen. It was never meant to be. And both of us can go on with our lives and be happy that we haven't wasted our time. Be happy that we haven't spent time on someone that was never going to make us happy, right? So if you are open and honest, women with who also want to be open and honest with that spirit of adventure, who are willing to take risks as well, are going to be attracted to that because you're painting a picture of an adventure together rather than some sort of tired, bored courtship process where you go out on 3 dates to nice bars and have an awkward conversation about who pays the bill, and it makes the whole dating process boring and the same. And instead, it should be exciting. It should be about you and her. It should be about this moment of magic that you shared and your pure, honest enthusiasm about seeing her and her thinking, this just feels different. Why does it feel different this time? This guy's not doing all of the nonsense. I can see who he is. And so I want this one. So those are the three main reasons. She's not attracted to you. She doesn't trust you. She's not persuaded by your offer, either because you haven't thought about it. You haven't actually shown her anything. You're not enthusiastic about it. You haven't taken the risk. You haven't shown that you're comfortable taking the risk. So my 6-week course is starting at the beginning of November, the second one. Current one, we're entering week 3 now. We've got the 3 clients on it. So any questions on that, find the link in the description below. Jump on a 30-minute call with me. I'll take you through it and answer any of your questions for free. You don't even have to be invested in this course. I understand how the stats work. If I take a certain number of calls, I get my sales. I don't mind if you're that person or not. If you are a broke student and you just want some advice, talk to me. I'm happy to give that 30 minutes away to everyone for free. Just get in touch. And if you are interested in the course, I'll be happy to take you through it. There's no pressure, obviously, just like with what we're talking about. If it's not the right fit, it's not the right fit. I don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. There's no pressure on these calls. It's literally for me to give everyone 30 minutes of my time to help you out with the obstacles that you're facing and do what I can. And that will be my pleasure. So let me answer a few of these questions. Okay, these are some, not silly, but I'm not sure about these questions. No, Eshwa, I have not done that. How the girls react when you cold approach her. Oh, right, so you're talking to Eshwa. Okay. Hi, I felt a little bit insecure when going out on a date with an older woman, especially perceived higher value ones. How do I maintain inner strength? Because I didn't travel much. I don't have enriched stories. Okay, so just an Asian, right? That's the handle, right? You don't need to try and impress her. If you're going out with a woman, no matter what her age is, if she's older or younger than you, if she's going out with you, it's because she's seen something in you that's worth investing in. Now, a mistake that a lot of younger guys would make if they like older women and they want to date older women is to try and compete with older men and think, oh, she's an older woman. She's got this experience. She's got this life experience, these stories, this wisdom. So I need to show her that I have this too. And the point is that's completely backwards, because if that's what she was looking for in you, a younger guy, she wouldn't go for a younger guy, right? If she was looking for wisdom, if she was looking for life experience, she wouldn't be dating a guy that's much younger than her. So if you're going out with an older woman and you're worried about your perceived value, forget all about it and just focus on her. Just appreciate her. Just admire her. Let her tell you her stories and listen and enjoy it and appreciate her. If you're a younger guy dating an older woman, she's probably dating you because she likes being appreciated by a younger guy. And she likes your energy. She likes your charisma and the youthful attitude of a younger man. She's probably been with many older men. And the reason she's with you is not because you have life experience. Trust me. She's with you because she's decided to be with a younger guy, probably because of your energy levels and because of your charisma and because it makes her feel young again and because you appreciate her, right? You appreciate all of those qualities in her. So don't worry about how she perceives you. That's already done. She's already made her mind up about you. Just enjoy it, relax, appreciate it. Happy early birthday, Sam. Thank you, Facebook user. Yeah, so that age difference, let me bring these comments up. That age difference is hardly even noticeable, basically negligible. But let's say even if you're in your early 20s and she's in her 40s, the same rules apply, right? She's not with you because of your wisdom. Hey, Sam, 40 approaches nothing so far. Thanks, been doing it once a week, but maybe it's too infrequent. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I would focus on going on your own adventure. So when you leave the house, you go out into the world and you say, I'm going to go and explore a new place. I'm going to enjoy this beautiful walk. I'm going to walk through open doors. I'm going to walk into museums. I'm going to engage with the people in there. And if I see someone I like, I'm going to go and express myself honestly. I wouldn't worry about this sort of robotic, how many people do I need to talk to at this stage. I would just treat your life as an adventure that you're engaging in. And as you go, you invite other people into that reality, into that adventure. How do I build my circle from zero? Thank you, man. How do I build my social circle from zero? Again, man, I apologize for the same answer to the last question, but it's basically the same, right? You start your own adventure and invite people into it, right? What do you like to do? I like to do like alternative exercise things. I do gymnastics. I go to like ninja warrior gyms. So how do I build my social circle? Well, I go to gyms or exercise places. I talk to other people who are also interested in the same things. Then I invite them to the events that I'm going to, and they come because they also like those things. And now I have a social circle. And then we get promotional materials from those things. Like we take videos and show other people it's cool. And then the next person you meet, you can show them what you're doing and they're more likely to come. It's the same with the nightclubs. It's like you could have the best club in England. You could have an amazing nightclub. And it's got everything, right? It's got an amazing bar. It's got VIP area. The music's great. But if you haven't shown anyone what that experience is like, it's unlikely to go anywhere. So what do? A new nightclub will hold free drinks for the night, right? They'll invite a select number of guests. They'll invite a load of Instagram influencers, some expensive table spenders, and then everyone else gets in for free. And then guess what happens next week? Well, they throw all this stuff on Instagram accounts. They get the influencers to share these videos, these photos of how much fun everyone's happening. And guess what? People start to come. They get more footage. They get more promotional material. In 2-3 months, it's the best club in England. The same is true of your stuff. Go on your adventure, invite other people along, get like evidence that this works and that it's fun and that you guys are enjoying it. Show other people, and then other people come. But you don't just build a social circle if you're not motivated to take the lead. You can't just like leech off other people's happiness and try and steal their joy for yourself. You have to actually have a starting place where you're enthusiastic about doing something, and then you can bring other people along into your enthusiasm, into your adventures. So the answer really to this is just take the lead, like take ownership of it, take responsibility. If you put on an event, invite someone to it, and it kind of sucks, then figure out what was wrong and do it again next time. If only one person comes, that's okay. Have fun with that person. Make it an adventure. More people will come. Sad state of civilization whereby meeting someone in person is no longer normal. Yes, I agree. That is a sad state of civilization. It is sad that everyone is meeting online, that we have to rely on Instagram and Tinder to make friends and to find wives and girlfriends. But brother, I wouldn't get like lost in the sadness of it. I would just say, well, okay, so it's your responsibility to change it, right? You're a man in the world right now. And so what can you do to persuade other people that we're going in a weird direction by outsourcing our social lives to social media and to corporations? Well, you can go out and start being social, be energetic, be enthusiastic about meeting other people. And if you want to meet women, show them that you can be trusted, right? Because essentially, I think the issue that we're having in civilization today is that there's so many bitter men who feel like all women are going to break them, are going to cheat on them, are lying to them. And there's so many bitter women who think that all men are looking for the same thing and that they're going to lie to them to get what they want and that they're going to harass them, that we've got this sort of team mentality where it seems like it's men against women, when the obvious only fact is that we're clearly on the same team. So Jamie, it's your responsibility to show women that men can be trusted. That's basically, I would say, your responsibility as a man today. Don't give canned openers or statement because it's not congruent. There's a wall even when she looks at your eyes while you're saying those. I don't fully understand, but I think what you're trying to say is it's not about the words that you're saying, it's about the way that you express yourself, and you have to own whatever energy or emotion you're saying it with. And yes, I agree. Yeah, there's trauma. Honesty doesn't make you 1% more valuable. It shows your value to the girl without obscuring it. If you are honestly low value or high value, it'll just allow her to reject or accept you quicker. Not quite true, man, because it's actually rare. It's actually rare. The amount of times that that a man will honestly express to a woman who he likes that he doesn't want to be in a relationship right now is incredibly rare. Most 99% of guys will pretend, they'll act like they want to be in a relationship. They'll try and agree with what she says. They'll try and persuade her that they would be a good partner for her, when in fact, that's not what they want and they know it. And what that does is it creates self-loathing in the man, and it creates disgust in the woman, and she's less likely to trust other men based on the poor example of masculinity that you've just set. So actually, honesty does make you 1% more valuable. It actually probably makes you a lot more valuable, because it's so rare that it's actually surprising if a guy who is awkward or nervous is willing to just show her that and express himself honestly. That will at least be an extremely positive experience in her day or in her life. And at most, she will be so impressed that you can be openly uncomfortable that she may even be attracted to you. She may be the same, right? She may be a bit nervous herself, and she may find it difficult to express that. And people think she's mean, but really she's just shy. And now she's met a guy who's exactly the same, but he's just honest about how he shows it. So it does make you a lot more valuable, because it shows that you are confident enough on a core level to express your own insecurities and your own vulnerability, which is a sign of not the extroverted, charismatic confidence that you might expect from celebrities, but a more deeper inner confidence. How can a genuine sense of adventure be cultivated? Man, this question is kind of a paradox. Like, how can a genuine sense of adventure be cultivated? Well, there's nothing you can do to create that. You actually have to want to be on an adventure, right? So, unfortunately, I just, a lot of people that I talk to, and I understand it, right? I know the world's a bit weird, society's a bit weird at the moment. But I just see so many people saying, I went out and talked to this many people and I didn't get anything out of it. Well, the answer is because you're not seeing your life as an adventure. So there is, in some senses, no cultivation process. It's like, I am deciding now that I'm going to leave the house so that I can explore the world, so that I can just go and see what happens, so that I can cross a bridge I've never crossed, find a rooftop that I've never been on, because I'm on an adventure, because I'm alive, and I'm not going to be alive forever. And for this short period where I am a custodian of the earth, I'm going to go and enjoy it. I'm going to go and explore it, and I'm going to be aware of my experience. And when you bring that energy into conversation and into life, people want to be around it because it's so rare. And we're mostly lost in trivial decisions, and we're lost in the banal details of life that we never remember that we can actually treat it as an adventure, that we're writing our own movie as we go. Yes, they came out on first date because curiosity, but often it didn't go with second date. I just feel a little bit discouraged. That's okay, man. Like, not everyone is gonna click with you and want to see you again. But if I were you, I would figure out, maybe, okay, if they were attracted to you at the start and then they went on a date with you and that keeps happening, and then continuously people don't want to meet up with you a second time, what are you doing or not doing that's causing that? Like, how are you acting? Are you being honest? Are you avoiding certain conversations? Are you avoiding telling her what you want and how you feel? Are you trying to make it good, or are you just trying to engage with her, learn about her, and enjoy it? Because it's not always going to go well, right? Sometimes you're just not for the other person. But if you keep going on dates and not ever seeing that person again, it's probably worth reflecting and thinking, like, was I being honest about what I'm looking for? Because that could be a conversation, right? It doesn't have to be that you don't know if you're going to see her again, right? If I went on a date with a girl that I liked, I would already talk about wanting to see her again during that date, right? I'd talk about that because I want to see her again. Why would you hide that? And if she doesn't want to see me again, I would hope that I'd made her feel safe enough in my company that she could say, actually, I don't really want to see you again. You're just not my type, or I'm just really busy. I'm not ready for dating, whatever she wants to say. But you don't need to leave everything up to luck. You don't need to have this constant looming sense that you don't know what's going to happen. A lot of the time, these are conversations that you just need to start, and she will appreciate that you've started them because they're not easy to have. My last 5 numbers have flaked, getting pretty frustrating, not gonna lie. Well, a lot of the time a girl's just gonna give you a number because it's less awkward than telling you she's not interested. And I've talked to a lot of women about this, and they say, yeah, I give my real number and I never intend on meeting the guy again, just because I feel uncomfortable saying no in that moment. And so many guys have sworn at me or abused me after I've said no. They act really nice. I'm not lying about this. I genuinely, over the last few days, spoken to more than one woman who said that a guy approached me, seemed really sweet, was really nice. When I told him I had a boyfriend or I wasn't interested, he abused me, right? So we kind of have to be as empathetic as possible to the actual experience of women in the day. It's not all men, right? Obviously, I'm not accusing any particular person of it, but I think a lot of the time there's this pervasive attitude that all men are lumped together in this box of not to be trusted or dishonest or as weird or as toxic. And the truth is that if a woman's had a few experiences with abusive men or genuinely toxic men, she's going to start to expect that to be the case. And then it's our responsibility to show her that you're not like that, right? So don't get frustrated by it. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that just because some girls haven't wanted to see you again, that all women are going to be like that. And try and empathize with her perspective and what she's actually experienced and what she's been through. And maybe that would give you some insight into why she would give you her number or give you a fake number and then not actually want to see you. And again, come back to what I was talking about earlier in the video, right? Have you actually expressed yourself honestly? Have you actually given her something to be attracted in? Have you done a good job? Like, have you actually expressed yourself clearly? And there's many reasons why she might not respond. Sam, when are you going to give us fitness tips? Anytime, man. I don't really want to conflate the direction of this channel too much. Every now and then I do it, but right now it's as good a time as any, since this is the last comment. I use gymnastic rings. So the way that I train now is I just string up a pair of gymnastics rings, and you can work out basically any part of your body with them. And if you don't know how to use them, just hold them and figure it out, because you can't really go wrong. It's not like a barbell. It's not like dumbbells. It's not like heavy weights. With a pair of rings, you can basically just play with them and you're going to be working something properly. For example, if I do a pull-up and I pull the bar down like this, what I'm actually doing is putting pressure on my joints, because that's not a natural range of motion. If you do that movement, you'll see that that is natural and that is natural. So that would be the range of motion, right? So with rings, it follows your body's natural range of motion. So you're building the stabilizing muscles, you're taking pressure off your joints, and you're actually engaging a lot more of the muscle mass. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Occasionally I do like deadlift, squat, bent over rows, bench press, shoulder press, and some biceps over 3 days. And then I spend the other 3 or 4 days with gymnastics rings, just playing. And it's exhausting and it burns a lot of calories and it builds muscles. So those are my fitness tips. And get outside and run because it feels good. No more questions. This has been fun. As I said, anybody who wants 30 minutes of my time to talk over your obstacles, talk over your problems, I will happily give that to you. And I look forward to comments. Thank you, guys.